welcome to the Thrive podcast series, shaping Bruneian entrepreneurs to thrive in tomorrow's economy. Thrive is Asia Inc. Forum's flagship entrepreneurship program aimed at equipping Bruneian entrepreneurs with practical strategies for growth, a market expansion mindset, and the tools necessary to flourish in this rapidly evolving global economy. Thrive seeks to build a new generation of Bruneian business leaders who are well-informed, innovative, and of course, forward-focused. We have a very special guest in our podcast studio for our latest episode on the Thrive series. Welcome, Cuckoo's Marketing Director, Ms. Wong Hui Ting.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. Welcome to the podcast studio. This year Cuckoo has reached its 10-year milestone here in Brunei. What does this milestone personally and professionally mean to you?
Wow, now that we have reached 10 years into the business, this milestone has definitely served a deeper meaning for myself and our team, personally and professionally. I think 10 years doesn't just serve as the longevity of the business, but more so it actually represents how our customers trust the brand for a decade. And for that, I think it has been very, it's really emotional for myself as well as for my brother as well and for the whole team, because when we first started out in 2016, we had a value that we wanted to share. It was a very simple value, 2 words, and that was wanting the customer to find out that Cuckoo Brunei will always serve beyond standards. Products beyond standards, filters beyond standards, our technology beyond standards, and our services beyond standard, because we believe that every household deserves products and services that exceeds expectation. And having to see, especially with our team, having our team on board with us, believing in our values and vision for this decade, and also having our customers as well recognizing this value with us, I'm really grateful, and I have a deep gratitude for all of our customers and our team members. And I think that pushes us a greater confidence to go forward and carry us forward in the next decade to come.
I definitely love your tagline, Beyond Standards. And I think, again, a remarkable journey for you since you were there from day one. How has Cuckoo's brand identity, you think, evolved since it entered Brunei? Because 10 years is quite a long journey.
It has.
So you've seen the progresses throughout the years. So can you share with the audience?
Yeah. Speaking of Beyond Standard, when we first started out, we had 3 core products that we introduced into the market for Cuckoo Brunei. The first one was our water purifier, we had air purifier, and our multi-pressure cooker. And when we first started, we of course had limited resources. So we asked ourselves, okay, our first thing was we needed to educate the market about our identity beyond standards, and how do we do that? So we sort of put a lot more effort and emphasis towards our water purifier, where we educate the market of sharing a lot of the values that Cuckoo Brunei bring to the table. For instance, our water purifier, we had this tagline when we first started out. It was called Air Mesti Ada Standard. There was a lot of question marks when people saw that on our billboards.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Because that meant in simple layman terms, that meant your water has to have standards. And people were wondering, what do you mean? Why does water need to have standards? And that was when we put in a lot of emphasis on, when it comes to drinking water, your water has to be mild alkaline. You need to ensure that you have minerals in your water for a sustainable, healthier lifestyle. And even for our filtration as well, for Cuckoo, we educated the market a lot on our nanopositive filter, how we're able to filter out the impurities as well as retain minerals. Because back then, a lot of people used UV filters or reverse osmosis. So we needed to put a lot of education to really highlight the identity of why your water has to have standards. And not only that, I think during that time, we also focused a lot on our after-sale service, the kind of value that we add. When you have water purifier, how Cuckoo Brunei reminds you of your next service every 4 months. We wanted to showcase that, having home appliance brand doesn't mean that it's just a product at your home. We wanted to build that long-term relationship. And over the decade, over the years, we actually saw a shift as our brand matured. So our brand identity sort of shifted from being a water purifier company brand to a company brand that was a lifestyle partner, because throughout the years we diversified. We sort of listened to a lot of our customers' feedback as well, and we started to see that customers really liked, our after sales service, and they were asking, hey, do you offer after sales service and also rent to own for other products? And that was when we decided to diversify. And when we diversified, we changed our brand identity from a sort of a water purifier company to a healthy home provider brand, or or more to say in a more layman term, we want it to be every customer's lifestyle partner. When they think of home appliances, they think of Cuckoo. They think of after sales service. Let Cuckoo take care of the products for you.
I think we can attest to that at EJE Forum. We are proud Cuckoo supporters, and now and again, I also get reminders of when the servicing is going to happen in the next few months or so. In regards to Cuckoo, right? I understand it's a regional brand.
It is.
In regards to making it, I would say its market entry to Brunei very unique, right? Why Brunei? Why is it different compared to other countries where Cuckoo operates in?
I think Brunei has a very distinctive environment that somehow fits well with our Cuckoo's footprint. Because when it comes to Cuckoo's, values and our vision, we want it to be the leading home appliance brand that serves our customers. And when you compare that to, bigger countries or bigger cities, that bigger cities usually prioritize speed and scale, less human interaction. Whereas in Brunei, our market values trust. They value long-term relationships as well. And I think that is where it constantly reminds us to stay agile and constantly reminded that interaction in Brunei is very important. From the point of our interaction with customers over the phone, when we provide our water purifiers to their home, to our services, we have our SQCs, our service quality check department as well, contacting the customer after the service to see if everything's okay. Are they happy? Was there anything that concerned them? Is there anything else that we can improve? So we constantly want to maintain this interaction, and I feel that our values hold well with Brunei in terms of hospitality. And I think Brunei, as a small community, it makes us so special as well, because we are a close-knit community. Hospitality serves us so well here. And I think not only in the brand itself, I think in the country, whenever we have business partners, we have friends coming, every time they come to Brunei, people will always say Brunei has the best hospitality. And I think that is quite similar to our Cuckoo footprint. We try to serve the best hospitality to our customers and to build a long-term relationship. And I think that's how we gel well together as well. And we hold similar values.
And that's nice to know, because again, when you operate in a very large country, it's very touch and go. You don't really get to see the person, when you interact with them, maybe perhaps on the phone. But in Brunei, it's very small. Everybody knows each other. So that's why those long-term relationships need to be built, trusted over time. Very unique. So in regards to another matter, which is marketing evolution and innovation when it comes to Cuckoo, right? Since you're the marketing director, how do you think marketing itself has changed over the past decade? And how did Cuckoo adapt throughout the times? Different social media platforms, different kinds of engagements.
I think we do see a huge change across the past 10 years. When we first started out in 2016, marketing was, to me, it was a lot more simpler back then. It was all about visibility, How often do people see your advertisements? How frequent do you, share the message across to the people? And it was a very straightforward kind of objective. The more reach you reach out to people, the better your results are. And however, as we sort of see, over the years, we start to see a huge shift, especially towards the digital platforms. And I think during COVID, that was when the digital platform era exploded. That was when we start to see a lot more interactions happening online. There wasn't much attention paid towards offline advertisement anymore, so we had to adapt, especially during the COVID era as well. We had to adapt to a more digital. We had to adapt a lot of our advertisements digitally, but at the same time, because Cuckoo is a very consumer-centric business. We didn't want to lose the touch of interaction and engagement with our consumers. And we sort of adapted this new method of marketing called omni-channel marketing. And that is where we really try to integrate as much as our offline and online as seamless as possible to our consumers. And it seemed to work.
Oh wow, that's because again during COVID time you can't really get to the store, you can't have that in-person experience.
Correct.
So in that regard, during those times, what evolved? Like how did you shift then? As in, did you go on Instagram, TikTok? How was your reach like?
We did. We had a lot of experimental marketing because it was very new for us.
Yeah, of course.
To be very honest, I don't have a background in marketing. I actually graduated in health psychology.
Okay.
So for us, during that time, it was really new. We did a lot of experiment as much as we did offline. For online, we wanted to understand our customers a lot better. What did they like to look at? Were they constantly on Instagram? Were they on YouTube? Were they on Facebook? Or were they no longer on Facebook anymore? Are our customer profiles still the same? Where do they go online? What time do they go online? So the first year especially was very, we did a lot of A/B testing. We run a lot of A/B tests as well. We tried to do a lot of advertisement campaigns in different languages and to see what worked. We tried to launch it in different timing as well, whether or not people surf the net more at night. Would that be the right timing? That was a lot of tests for us. And then from there, we sort of see, we start to gather more data. And through more data, we were able to refine and be more relevant in our interactions.
So I think Cuckoo is then well known for this very strong experiential kind of campaign style.
Yeah.
There's also the in-person, like things like the consumer fair and also the live activations.
Yeah.
Why does experiential marketing matter for the brand?
I think I have to go back with how Cuckoo is a consumer-centric business. So being very consumer-centric, we still need to proactively engage. And one of the best ways that we feel that we can engage well with our customers is through roadshows, offline interactions, face-to-face, two-way conversations. That is the best for our customers to also enhance their experience and journey with us. Because when it comes to home appliances, you can't just see the product and be like, okay, I want to get that, like the latest phone.
Yeah,
you can't
doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't share all the information or, you can't really convey the story well online and expect people to purchase it on the spot. You still need to touch on their other senses, whether it's through sight, touch, feel, taste when it comes to our water purifier, whether or not it fits their preference, it fits their lifestyle. So having offline interaction allows us to engage the customers better and also improves their customer experience with us from online to, of course, our service as well. Because service for us, apart from our after-sale service, our customer journey at the very beginning, our customer experiences is very important for us as well. And not only that, I think experiential marketing is very important for us because that is the best time for us to gather more data. For me, especially, because that is when we can get real life input and feedback from customers, and that is where we constantly update ourselves with, our customers' experiences. What are their habits like? Have their habits changed from the year before? This is the time for us to be able to get to understand our customer better. And for me, I always believe when you have the right number of data, your impact towards your marketing efforts are much more larger than constantly just trying to follow the trend. It's much more sustainable.
Definitely. So data-driven marketing strategies from Cuckoo then.
Yeah.
What has been, I would say, that one marketing campaign or initiative that best represents Cuckoo's values? And then at the same time, how do you then, balance, at the end of the day, it's all about KPIs and targets and that kind of thing, right? But how do you meet those commercial objectives and then at the same time make meaningful brand storytelling?
Okay. I'll start with the first one.
Sure.
I think over 10 years, there's so many campaigns. I can't seem to pick one.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose one particular campaign that sort of fits with our brand, one that sort of speaks a lot in my mind was we had this campaign where at the beginning our identity was beyond standards. So every time, even until now, you would see Cuckoo beyond standards. That is our main brand identity. But we wanted to humanize Cuckoo a lot more and sort of close off the gap that we have with our customers. Because again, being a very consumer-centric business, we wanted to make sure our customers feel closely engaged with us. It's not in a very transactional marketing, because nowadays people sort of see that all the time. You know, when you sell a product or when you market a product, it's all about, okay, what is the best benefits of this product? You know, is it in trend, the aesthetics? But you lose out on the emotional aspect, the emotional engagement. And for us, we wanted to close off that gap between us and the customers. So we rebranded a tagline that is called Sama Sama Cuckoo, with Cuckoo
Together.
and togetherness. And we wanted to let the consumer feel that whatever we do, we really think a lot with our for our consumers, and we really try to cater to our consumers' needs. And when we launched this campaign, it was on a very online and offline interaction. So every time, whenever we had new commercials, new advertisements, we ended the message with Sama Sama Cuckoo. And not only that, when we had campaigns, we also did a lot of games that let people do different hashtags with us. You know, what can they do, Sama Sama Cuckoo? Even during COVID time as well, we wanted to empower the community, empower our workplace to stay strong during the pandemic. And we used the campaign Sama Sama Cuckoo as well alongside with our messages. But it wasn't just through one-way interaction. We wanted to make sure that our actions follow through. So even to the very point of, you know, when our customer call center, when customers call back to our to our Careline service department, they will also end the message with, you know, thank you so much for, we hope we were able to serve you better. Stay safe, stay healthy, Sama Sama Cuckoo. We made sure all these little details were inputted as well in our operational procedures. Even with our after-sales service department, we call that our service specialists. Every time when they greet customers, we always say Sama Sama Cuckoo. You know, these little gestures just to show a lot more humanity.
Of course. Yeah, it's not a straightforward transaction when it comes to business, of course. And that human element is definitely something you don't want to miss.
Correct.
I definitely hear bits and pieces where your leadership as a marketing director, you know, really shines through. One question I think I've heard quite a lot. I think our audience as well knows a lot more about Cuckoo as well now.
Yeah.
But you yourself as head of marketing, how do you then build a team that stays super innovative and relevant?
Okay. As a head of marketing, I think when it comes to innovation, let's start with innovation as well. It's always to do with the mindset of the leader. And how do you shift your mindset towards your team? And I feel it comes into three ways: curiosity, courage, and collaboration. Curiosity. Do you allow your team to be curious and be willing to experiment new things? As a leader, in order for your team to be innovative, you need them to be curious. But in order for them to be curious, are you allowing them room to try something new that is not the norm? Whether or not the outcome is going to be good or not, are you willing to let your team experiment? That's the first thing. Second thing you need to ask yourself is courage. Because you're trying something innovative, you know mistakes happen. Mistakes will happen all the time. We're not perfect. We don't know whether or not the marketing outcome is going to come out right. But as a leader, do you allow your team to make mistakes? You need to give them room to feel brave. So in Cuckoo Brunei and our marketing team, we really want to keep the environment safe. Whether or not they make mistakes, we let them know we understand. But most importantly, when we come in for a post-mortem, how do we learn? What does this teach us? Because whatever mistakes that we make, we always learn something. And from learning, through learning, we get better. And last but not least, collaboration. Do we constantly communicate? Do you align yourself with, you know, your business objectives, with the innovation, so that your team is aligned with you? And for me, I also like to do this thing called the 2-hour brainstorming workshop.
Okay.
So there are times where we understand, you know, our creative team will get a creator's block. It happens. So what we tend to or like to do is we like to take our team out of the work setting, or sometimes we just stay in the office and we say, okay, let's set a meeting for 2 hours. We're not going to set any agenda. I just want all of you to throw ideas and we feed each other.
That's true.
I think having a leader to be in constant collaboration, constant communication gives them the sense of, hey, if my leader says this is okay and she's feeling it as well, all the ideas are coming out, this is where the the willingness to be innovative, to try, the creativeness comes in, and that is, sort of how great ideas comes out.
Happen. Sometimes it's really a joint effort, and I think when you co-create,
Correct.
and you bounce off each other,
Correct.
that's the
And
nicest thing.
exactly,
of course,
and that's how you get the innovation. But to answer your question, relevance. How do we stay relevant? I think it goes back to what I mentioned about data. As much as we have, as a leader, this is where I like to emphasize, or I like to encourage my team to come up with as much ideas. And as a leader, we need to use our data to bring the team back. So for me, I like to encourage as much ideas as possible. And then with the data, we refine.
Yeah.
We refine which idea works best for our customer. Because again, one thing that may be in trend may not reflect to our customer profile. So data and customer profiling is very, very important for our business, and especially for our marketing aspect.
Marrying those two elements together.
Yeah.
I think to all our marketeers as well, when you're listening, I think this is very relevant advice as well for any kind of organization as well, right? When it comes to marketing, I would say that it can be very high pressuring, and also it's very fast. So in terms of trends, engagements, it's all pretty fast. How do you maintain, I would say, that resilience and team morale?
Yeah. For me, to maintain our team's morale and resilience, I think it goes straight into ownership. When you give your team a level of ownership into a campaign, they start to think differently. The entrepreneurship in them comes out. And I think not only does it help build their morale, as a leader, it encourages you to see how your team grow. So for me, I always like to encourage every team player to have a chance to be a PIC, or a team lead, a project manager in a project, because of course, number one, they start to think in a different light. They start to think more of, okay, there's more ownership in this. They will put a little bit more thought into what they do, how they execute. But most importantly, not only that, when it comes to them taking ownership, the celebration is very, very equally important. I think giving your team sort of the confidence that every action that they take, you notice it as a leader.
Of course.
And I think that is what builds their morale and resilience towards the business. And most often or not, I think in a fast-paced environment, especially like within the marketing, you don't, a lot of times people feel like, I don't have a lot of time to explain. But for me, I feel it's really important to always remind your team the why. Why do we do this campaign? Who are we trying to serve? What is the objective? Because more often than not, we get lost in transition, and we just feel like, okay, I just want to be productive. I want to roll out as many content, roll out as many campaigns as possible. But sometimes our team would forget, and they would just do for the purpose of doing. So having to always constantly remind them of the why, I think that's very important.
In regards to, I think, leadership lessons, right? Learning a lot from you right now. What leadership lesson have you personally learned over the past decade?
Whew, that is
very
a
personal
lot.
question, of course,
a lot to unpack. Cuckoo was established, and I joined Cuckoo at the age of 25. So over the past 10 years, especially when I first started, I had little knowledge in marketing at all. I've learned so much, and if I may say so myself, I think I owe it to a lot of people that I've met who have taught me along the ways, and I'm forever grateful for my colleagues, as well as our mentors in Cuckoo Malaysia, who has taught us a lot, and as well to our managing director, Mr. Wong. I think he has taught me a lot in terms of strategic planning, going back into objectives. But if there was one particular area that I would say that I've learned a lot, and I felt that is really important in leadership, I think it's to do with emotional intelligence. For me, leadership revolves around people, and having good emotional intelligence is very important. How you manage problems, how you manage or react to certain issues, how you manage conflict within the office, your team, and even yourself. And I feel that, that is very important to keep the team grounded as well as motivated, and to keep going on in the business as well.
At the same time, you're steering the entire team. But I mean, personally for you, what additional question to leadership lesson? How is it that you, I would say, become that guiding star to your team, at the same time, stay true to yourself?
I think that's a very good question. I really like this question, and to unpack to unpack this question, I think for me personally, I love to teach.
Yeah.
I think for me, my value is to see my team. For me, I have a personal value where I always feel that I'm willing to teach and see the team grow instead of, sometimes people tend to want to recruit people of highly skilled, but because of my own background, coming with no experiences in marketing, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like, trying to keep to this value, it's a bit hard in a fast-paced environment, but I try as much to put in a lot more time to really, to really put in a lot of time and resources on my team players as well and our team members, whether or not it's on the creative aspect or on our campaigns, our objective, our postmortem. I try to put in the time as I can. So I try to commit myself at least on a weekly basis to meet with my team to really go into the teaching and learning aspect. And through teaching, I actually learn. So I think that's how I try to stick to my values as well as with what I'm learning as
And
well.
I think at the end of the day, as a leader, I think people assume you know everything. No, we don't know everything. So it's at the same time you co-learn with your entire team, and it's always a learning journey for everyone.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
So taking it back now to Cuckoo. So Cuckoo's impact on community contribution. Cuckoo, I think, often highlights wellness and healthy living. Why is that so important then to the brand's mission?
Yes, because for Cuckoo, we believe that health begins at home. And, as a company that prioritizes on preventative wellness, we really want customers to feel that, when it comes to home appliances and wellness living, we want to be able to cater and make it accessible for them, and as well as teach them the healthier habits of a better lifestyle without adding complexity.
Very straightforward and very simple, of course, right?
Yeah.
In regards to Cuckoo's contribution beyond business, particularly in community engagement, how is it that Cuckoo, I would say, actively engages its community?
Yeah, I think this is the part that I love so much about marketing. And especially towards, if I can share a little bit more, in 2018 was when we first kickstarted our CSR campaign. We wanted to be more, we wanted to be seen more in the community. We wanted to see how we can reach out to the community. And like what I mentioned earlier, our brand really focuses on making our products accessible. So we wanted to feel that every household deserves products and services that exceeds expectation. But what about our community? So this is where we kickstarted our Cuckoo Care initiative, Share the Drops of Joy campaign, where we committed to sponsoring 80 water purifiers in the whole year of 2018.
Wow.
Across to nonprofit organizations, public sectors, or like public places such as mosques, parks, and as well as any sport complex or public areas, because we believe that the public deserve access to clean water. So that was our community outreach. And to date, we have donated a total of 295 water purifiers.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yeah, and we have initiated a total of about 490 initiatives where we supported SMEs, events, roadshows with free supply of water stations. So we wanted to encourage customers to also bring their own empty water bottles. And, for every festivals or events that's happening in Brunei, we wanted to be able to provide access of free water.
I think that's definitely something where we can talk upon, I think, after this podcast episode as well. Because again, in terms of events, bringing your own is also sustainable, right?
It is.
I think on the point of building for the next 10 years, so you're now on your 10th year, but for the future ahead, right? Looking ahead, what do you think are the trends that will shape the future of marketing in the next 10 years?
For me, personally, I think in the next decade, you would see a marketing shift towards three things. First one, hyper-personalization. Marketing that fits you as an individual. Nowadays, we start to see AI and data driving rapidly. It's expanding rapidly. So people are expecting to see marketing that is catered not only to a segment of people, but to an individual. For instance, when they go into Cuckoo website, when it's more personalized, you could have a customer or an audience that is more fitness related that would be more interested in products such as our massage chair for, relaxation, for recovery, or maybe more towards our treadmill for fitness and health. And then on another angle, you might have another audience that may want personalized content that is more on cooking. They like, kitchen, cooking materials that is more personal. So AI on in trend, they will want to see marketing more personalized to their kind of interests. And I think that is the way forward in the next decade that we will be seeing. Secondly, I would think it's integrated interaction. Integrated engagement. And what I mean by that is marketing that flows everywhere. So as you can tell, since the pandemic has happened, Cuckoo has adapted the omni-channel marketing. And I think omni-channel marketing is just going to expand even more from here on. So online, offline marketing is just going to be more blurred out. There's no distinctive differences between online and offline anymore. What people want to see on Instagram, they want to relate it on newspaper. What people want to see on retail, it reflects to the same campaign as on YouTube. So I think people would want to see a more integrated message as well and campaigns in the next 10 years. And last but not least, I think it goes back to purpose, value, communication. Where does your marketing stand? Nowadays the audience are more well informed. They know where a company or a brand stand for, or what a company and brand stand for. So for all the companies out there, especially in marketing, I think in the next 10 years, we really need to hone to our values to really communicate more than just a transactional marketing, but more of a purpose value as well, and act upon it. Because I think from there, you're not only going to be able to acquire customers, but you're actually building brand advocates for your company.
Perfect. So in regards to how does Cuckoo then plan to stay relevant in this very increasingly competitive landscape, what is your next plans for Cuckoo?
Yeah, I think for Cuckoo, we still want to stay true to being consumer-centric. So first and foremost, I think in the next 10 years, we want to work very closely alongside with our consumers. We want to be able to adapt. We want to be able to adapt to their needs, because needs and habits, lifestyle change so fast. So for us, I think to really put in on the resources to really understand our customers, and continuously engage with them is very important. And for the next 10 years, I think putting a lot of resources in our innovation, in our values and community outreach as well is important. For us to be able to adapt in the next 10 years.
So personally, what are you looking forward to in the next 10 years? Like in terms of the future, what excites you the most?
I think what excites me is seeing technology gel together with wellness. And I think as we're actually moving towards a smart home era, I think what excites me so much is the upcoming innovations that we have to share to our consumers.
So nothing you can share yet on this episode,
for
right?
now I can't share, but
yeah.
I'm really excited to, once we can, I'm really excited to share and talk more about it.
Yeah, I think to our audience, I think they definitely have to stay tuned for this.
Yeah.
I think just the last personal questions on reflection. In terms of advice, what would you give to young marketers that are just entered the industry today?
I think for young marketers out there, one advice that I can really share, a very simple advice, is to always stay curious, learn, and be willing to adapt. To stay curious is because, everything that you may know now, you may not be able to, relate it in the future. So always stay curious in what's happening around the world, and also be able to have an open mind to adapt. As a leader of a company, it's really important to stay open-minded, because we do not know a lot of what our new generations know better than us. So it's always good to have an open heart and to really be willing to listen. You never know. This is where new ideas and good solutions come in.
Of course. So different kinds of engagements as well,
Yeah.
right? If you could describe Cuckoo's next 10 years in 3 words, I know it's not, a lot, but in the next 10 years in 3 words, what would they be?
I think if I were to have 3 words for to explain Cuckoo in the next 10 years, I think the first one is to accelerate, to engage, and to evolve.
evolution is definitely key to everyone. The very last question.
Yeah.
What legacy do you hope Cuckoo leaves in Brunei?
I think for us, particularly for Cuckoo, we genuinely want to be able to be the leading lifestyle partner for our consumers. And I think with our continuous efforts with innovation and engagement with our consumers, we really want to continue to build a lifelong relationship with them and for them to see us as the trusted partner when it comes to healthy home solutions.
That's perfect. I think a perfect close to the entire journey of our conversation. We definitely, I think, learned a little bit more, I think, on your own as well in terms of your marketing direction as a marketing director and a lot more on Cuckoo's initiatives and the next 10 years for Cuckoo. With that, I would like to say a big thank you to you,
Thank
Miss
you too
Wong.
for having me.
And the Cuckoo team as well for helping us to navigate all these questions. As well as that, I think Cuckoo is also a keen supporter of ours for our Thrive program. So thank you so much as well. To you, our listeners, I think the message is clear. Stay curious, keep questioning, and keep challenging, and stay tuned for this year, 2026. Give us a like, follow and subscribe to our main YouTube channel, which is Asia Inc. Forum BN, for more episodes, and give Cuckoo BN a follow as well. Together, shaping conversations here in Brunei, one conversation at a time.